If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but are none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
Well, you got your bucket list, your grocery list, your list of things to do. You got a list of all your wishes, that's a wish list, dude. You got your Amazon and Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy too. But I know a list that don't exist, and buddy, so do you. It's the Epstein list, it's a mystery list, but the twist is a myth of a list that we all dismiss. Be an optimist, not a pessimist. If you wish to persist, it's probably best you forget that list. Now what were we talking about? I don't remember, but I can sleep a lot better at night. Yeah, life can just go along, knowing there's 10,000 hours of sunshine and flowers and nobody doing a damn thing wrong. Hear no, see no, damn Bongino, cash Patel. Well, I wouldn't want to be a sweating man with bulging eyes. Now tell me them fellas ain't compromised. Any implicated dude will tell you, anybody on the big list knows just how far the folks in charge will go to keep the status quo. So when the war bell rings, the song that they'll sing is a song that we well know. I-oh, so it's off to war I go. Well, they said they's gonna fix it, but now they're all complicit. They-oh, 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 they-oh. So it's off to war we go. Send the poor off to war, what else are we for? They-oh, 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 they-oh.
Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, as we like to call it, the Tri-F podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. And can anybody guess what we're talking about today?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'll tell you one thing, though. Elon Musk's third party is looking mighty good right now. Yeah. So, Mr. Cody, how are you?
I'm doing well, buddy. How are you?
I'm all right. Better now that we're started. What about you, Trevor?
Wyatt, I am rolling.
Wyatt, you are rolling.
You sound pretty good, too,
Sweet.
on the live.
Sweet. Now, if we could just avoid a lag, that'd be fantastic.
Right.
I tried to listen this time. So far, there's no lag
Great.
from my end.
Great. Excellent. Well, yeah. So Just
Deal. So what do you got for us this week?
oh my,
The list that doesn't exist?
yeah, the list that doesn't exist, full of sunshine and flowers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is. I have so many thoughts, and I have no idea how to organize them. I've been thinking about it all week, but I guess I'll start by saying I don't imagine I am any longer in the MAGA camp and will not be in the MAGA camp until we get the names. And it's not just, well, it is primarily that they won't release the list. They should release the list. But the manner in which they have refused to do so is not exactly helpful either. So, how do I tell this story? Should I just start with the story, or are you guys already familiar with it? First of all, what do you guys know about what's happened this past week?
I know nothing.
Oh, then I have to start from the beginning. What about you, Trevor?
I just know that the video was released, and I listened to a guy do a breakdown, and he basically went over the whole video. That's all I know.
Okay.
So there's a video from inside the. Okay, I remember hearing about this. There's like a. You said it was like a closet or something.
Oh, yes. So you know how for the last several weeks I have been. First of all, let me just summarize this. I'm showing the picture again because I worked really hard on it.
Oh, it's great.
So there we go with that. I just wanted to show that again because I'm super proud of it. That turned out better for slopping that together as fast as possible.
To the Instagram.
Yeah, to the Instagram. So anyway, so let me start from the beginning. So now, first of all, I have been not very happy about the whole big beautiful bill situation, which was the big news last week. But that's not really conspiratorial, so I hadn't said anything. Anyway, but they got the big beautiful bill passed, and then 4th of July hits. And so I think the idea was they were going to talk about the bill, and they were going to try to sneak this whole thing under the radar between the holiday and the big beautiful bill and all that. They wanted to make sure that people did not catch the fact that they had no intention of releasing the Epstein files. So here's what they did. They release at about the same time, not precisely the same time, but about the same time. They release the tape. Remember, every week we've been going, "Hey, Cash, Dan, where's that video, buddy?" They finally put out a video. So that happened. We probably should look it up, but I think Trevor's got a video we're going to see. They'll probably show the footage. But anyway, now, first of all, let's just talk about the video for a second. I knew that they were going to cut out a minute somewhere. You just knew they were going to. Like, yeah, I doubt you could kill somebody in a minute, but you could sneak them out of the prison. But we're not allowed to talk about that. But anyway, they cut out a minute right at midnight, and Pam Bondi was like, "It's because the camera resets every night at midnight. We didn't cut it." Well, of course they cut it, and she's lying, because when it does cut out, it cuts out at 11:58. If it was on a computer or a timer, it would have cut out right at midnight or right at 11:59 or whatever. You know, it's not going to cut out 11:58 and then skip a minute. So she was lying. It was cut. But she promised that they were going to they were gonna show us later the proof. And we're like, okay, well, I wait with bated breath. But anyway, that was bad enough. But I knew that was going to happen. Call me Nostradamus. I knew they were going to pull something like that. What I didn't expect.
You prophet, you.
I know, right? It's almost like, it's not like this is a rerun or anything. We've never been through government cover-ups before. But what I didn't expect, Cody, was that they didn't even show the right door. It was literally like a closet or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the right room. I'm like, you gave us 10 hours of... Oh, yeah, it's a video. It's a video of a kind. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So they had the gall to show everybody a janitor's closet, not realizing that people already had schematics of the jail, and it took them all of 30 seconds to figure out that it was the wrong door.
Yeah.
So that happened. But at the same time, and this was really what set me off, they release a memo. And so now, not only has Epstein killed himself, and there's nothing to see here, he wasn't blackmailing anybody. There was no crime. Nothing happened. Move along,
Yeah.
And they snuck
Move
this
along.
in on Sunday night on July 4th, just praying nobody would see it. Just praying it would. They even sent it to like some obscure CIA loudspeaker called Axios. Like no conservative reads this paper. So they leaked it to one website that was on the liberal end of the
Jeez, man.
spectrum. Yeah. And they didn't even sign
Everybody's
it.
drunk on July 4th. Nobody's going to figure that out.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, they did everything they absolutely could to make sure this thing didn't get out until it was like too late. So they tried so hard to slow roll this. It didn't work. And so, come Monday morning, everybody's like, what? And so it was a big backfire. And as the week has gone on and people have been furious, first of all, I'm done with MAGA. And the reason is, well, as Patrick Bet-David said, that the thinking is there's some utilitarian reason for this. Like they've made a deal or whatever. What did he say? It was whatever it takes was kind of his thing. Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't care. I don't care if the economy crashes. You don't mess with kids. You don't sacrifice the kids because somebody's too rich. Period. And the $1 million question is, and really the thing that's been bugging the entire country is, are we or are we not a nation of laws? They've been bragging about, arresting 14,000 people. Okay, well, that's great. How many of them are rich? How many of them actually have influence? So I'm not particularly impressed at, arresting 14,000 whatever, because what happens if you're Bill Gates? He ain't among that 14,000. And if he did do something wrong, would he be among that 14,000? That's the $1 million question of all this. And right now the answer seems to be no, because this guy clearly was doing something. There's no way there was no blackmail operation whatsoever. So throughout the course of the week, two competing camps have developed in terms of what happened. Now, I should also clarify that where the records actually are is all over the place. You've got some people thinking that they're in Florida or Southern District of New York, because Ghislaine Maxwell has appeals going, so all of it's sealed because of current cases. You have some people saying the CIA has it. You have some people saying Mossad has it. You have some people, basically everybody in the dog is guessing where this information actually is. Nobody knows right now. Somebody did make a good point, and I think it was Benny Johnson. But they did make a good point in saying that the list, quote unquote, the list of names that people are technically looking for, they're found in Ghislaine Maxwell's black book, which is under lock and key because her case is on appeal. So the quote unquote Epstein list is really Ghislaine Maxwell's black book. So that was a good point to bring up. Of course, nobody on earth is actually stupid enough to think that there is a magical PDF file with all the names of the people who did bad things or whatever. Nobody's expecting that. They're wanting the names of the people on the 14 terabytes of tapes, who was actually doing the attacks or conducting the attacks or whatever, however you want to put it. So as for the two theories that have sprang up, it's basically a matter of, I'll say the two theories first. There is a debate about whether or not Donald Trump is the one who gave the orders or if Pam Bondi is the one who gave the orders. And this is where it gets really fishy because there's strong pros and cons for both possibilities. Obviously, if it was Pam Bondi, I'm willing to give Trump a pass because, of course, it's also possible she's just a scapegoat. But there's some reasons I think that might not be the case. Anyway, we'll try to talk about that as this goes on.
The orders to do what specifically?
Hide the Epstein list, hide the 14 terabytes of information. Basically, make sure none of this got out.
Gotcha.
So, who's given the orders to try to bury the story? Now, to Dan Bongino's credit, which is why he's not on my Three Stooges poster, He has made an ultimatum because he is convinced it's Pam Bondi, and he has said either Bondi goes or I go. So he's out of this game. So I'm going to give him credit for that because that took guts. I don't think Trump is the type to respond well to ultimatums, so he's about to lose his job, and he probably knows it. So I will give him credit for, throwing down the gauntlet and saying either she goes or I go. That took guts. And MAGA's behind him over Trump, by the way. No, we're not sycophants and, following Trump just because he is who he is. Everybody's like, no, get rid of Bondi because we need Bongino. That's kind of the universal sentiment. Yeah. I'm obviously not happy that he went along with the lie at first, but hey, he said enough. I'm out. I bow out.
It looked like he had his gun to a head from where I'm standing.
Yeah. Well, that interview was clearly a hostage video.
Right.
It's just there's no other way to put it. They were scared and thrown off. And interesting, and this is one of the reasons why I think Trump being behind this might have some plausibility, because if you look at all the people that have had to do 360s, they legitimately look scared. Like there's fear. And I don't remember the gal's name, but the press secretary, when she had to make this announcement on Monday, she's always seen with a cross around her neck. She took her cross off for the press conference.
Okay.
When she gave the political,
razzle dazzle.
Yeah, it was a little hint like we're lying. It was just kind of it was like blinking SOS. You know what I mean? So, so kudos to her. There are people trying to do what little they can, but that also kind of implies a question of conscience, and that kind of she doesn't answer to Pam Bondi. She answers to Trump. So that makes me wonder if Trump's behind it. Anyway, so I don't know. There's two theories. Either it's Trump or it's Bondi. And I've got some clips here that basically show a general... I should also add, some people are thinking it's like Mossad in control of Trump, but I'm not super convinced by that because the Iran thing just happened, and I kind of feel like they're trying to make Israel the bogey of the week and keep Israel the bogey of the week. I'm not convinced of that. I think it's a little reactionary to everything that happened to Iran a couple weeks ago. But anyway, regardless, that's another theory. But the two main theories is it Trump or is it Pam Bondi? And so I've got some clips, one of Alex Jones saying his opinion, and hopefully he gets through it quickly, and then one of Megyn Kelly giving her opinion. And those are two pretty good representations of where everybody's at. Yeah. So we will click on that really quick. If I can find my links fast enough. All right, so we'll start with good old Alex Jones.
Turn the Frog's Cage.
Tuned in, and we're going to have probably instead of 20 million viewers and listeners there.
Oh, Jess says no lag here, and you should make a list to help organize your thoughts. Yeah. Thanks.
That would be responsible.
That would be the intelligent thing to do. Thank you.
Lists are for nerds.
Nerd. Anyway. All right, so here's good old Alex Jones.
Probably 40 million, because everybody wants to obviously know what I'm going to say and what my guests are going to say about the Epstein, DOJ, Trump administration cover-up. And that's what it is, make no mistake. And more than just that, it is a joining with the entire conspiracy. Now, the bigger question is, why on earth would Patel, Bongino, a few months ago, we'll get the clip, go on Fox like deer in the headlights, like they were both had guns to their head, hostages. The body language was, this is BS. You couldn't come across as more disingenuous. It completely blew up in their face, and they went around continually doing it on other shows. Now, they're both very smart men, and very smart people obviously war-gamed all of that. And it flew 100% in the face of what they'd said previously and what Pam Bondi, the AG, had said literally weeks before that. Hundreds of new victims, videos, Epstein and others raping children. It's so horrible. And then doing a 180 and saying, we're going to release the video soon of Epstein killing himself, then it's not that. And just all this, you could not hurt the Trump administration worse if you tried to. And so this is 100% like a Japanese samurai taking a short sword.
Heck Media says, this is not the Three Stooges. When do you poke each other in the eye? You got to wait till hour 3. Yeah. So, thanks for the comment.
And jabbing it in on the right side of his stomach, drawing it towards the middle, and then pushing it up and jabbing it in their heart. Seppuku. So why is the DOJ particularly committing seppuku? I mean, their credibility before with the Democrats was in ruins. But to watch a self-inflicted wound like this, because I know this story and this issue up one side and down the other. And obviously, I woke up at 6 a.m. this morning, and this had broken overnight, without about 6-8 hours, and it was another vicious punch to the stomach. And then it took me a couple hours. I mean, I instantly knew what was going on, but a few hours to process and really think about it. And I know in the main exactly what's going on. And I made some phone calls to people like Roger Stone and FBI whistleblower Carl Seraphin and others. And they all...
That is another thing I do feel obligated to point out. Everybody in the dog who's been talking about this has been screaming, I've got sources, man. I've got so many sources. Like, everybody has sources. It's gotten a little ridiculous. Joe. Yeah, I've got the documents. Was it Jesse Ventura who'd say that?
No, that's Alex.
Alex. Oh, that's Alex. What did Jesse...
He looks great, by the way.
Oh,
did he quit drinking?
Methylene blue.
Methylene blue. Of course.
No, he's been working out.
Yeah.
All basically concurred with my analysis. In fact, Stone was already saying it before I gave my opinion. I said, what's your opinion? It was exactly the same thing, because it's not our opinion. So if you want to know exactly what's going on here in the main, I mean, I know in the 35,000-foot view that there's a lot of particular components. And what you're going to get from me today is just the facts. You can make your own decision about all this. But understanding the way they fell on their sword this way was part of an obvious deal with the deep state to go out and join us in the conspiracy, and then you'll have a deal with us to stop trying to kill Trump and the rest of it. I mean, that's what this is. And we're going to lay it all out straight ahead. It is 7.
All right, I don't think we need to do that. That's pretty much the gist of it. So Trump, in order to no longer have to dodge bullets, has made a deal with the deep state by saying, all right, we're going to no longer pursue the list, and in exchange, you're going to let me actually run the country. And the deep state was like, okay, fine, but here's the deal. We want a humiliation tour, if you will, with Pam Bondi, Bongino, and Kash Patel. That way, if you guys ever do try to bring this thing out, it's going to make you look foolish too. So one of the things that people have been saying is it's like Trump couldn't be on the list. And I'm not saying whether he is or he isn't, but the argument has been, well, the Democrats wouldn't say anything because, or Trump couldn't be on the list because otherwise the Democrats would have said something. And I'm like, not necessarily, because in the same way nuclear weapons work, it's kind of how this blackmail racket works. It's mutually assured destruction. If you out Trump, you got to out the girl that Trump was hypothetically with. She's going to be with other guys. Those guys could be Democrats. In other words, if you let one person out, you risk letting everybody out. So there may be a mutually assured destruction component to it. Maybe Trump could hide that and just get everybody else if he has in chart, if he's the only one that has control of it or whatever. Maybe that's what they were scared of. So what they did, and this is just one theory, so what they did is they were like, okay, you guys have to say there's nothing. so we know you won't, try to get somebody that you weren't. So we know you won't try to come after us, basically. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, I stumbled through that, but we got through it. So
I
that's
would think it's like more likely. There's so much nuance. Like it's because it's a list, right? So it's like a list of
well, there is no list.
people that, well, the alleged list. Yeah.
There's a bunch of videotapes that nobody wants to say who's on them.
Yeah. But I mean, there's probably a lot of names on there that are nuanced in a way that, like, they probably didn't do anything bad.
Yeah,
but
that's
if that
true.
list were to get released to the country, there would be an uproar, and the country would just be unhinged about the whole thing, everybody on it, when,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people on it were pretty much innocent. So
Yeah.
trying to explain all that would be huge,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Trump is on the list, but that doesn't mean he did anything bad.
Right. And that has been talked about this week. It's like, how do you distinguish who's guilty and who's innocent? Because nobody wants to see the tapes where people were actually doing stuff.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So nobody wants that. So how do you create a situation where you get the guilty parties out, or you put the names of the suspects, let's say, out, without disclosing the information directly, because the American people don't trust the FBI, and there's always going to be somebody who's supposedly being protected or whatever. I mean, those are all complicated things, but the one thing you don't do is go, there's nothing to see here. There's no blackmail whatsoever.
Yeah,
just shut up, which is quite literally what Trump says. Before we go on, I do want to show this clip, which I forgot to pull up because I'm an idiot. And this is really kind of what blown it out of the stratosphere, because before this moment, and I guess I should look on Twitter, but before this moment, everybody was pretty much blaming Pam Bondi for this. Then Trump, and maybe Trump was being nice and did it on purpose. I don't know. But Trump decided that he wanted to get everybody mad at him instead of Pam, apparently. So let me see if I can find that clip really quick. Trump. So, Trevor, Cody, while I'm finding this, you talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to this, so I don't have a lot to add about it. But I did hear somebody say that when the Biden administration went and raided Mar-a-Lago a couple years back, that this could have been what they were after, or confiscated from him, which would make sense, because they put all this stuff out in the open, but it's like over such a long stretch of time that nobody puts it together.
Yeah. All right, so here's the clip that kind of got everybody looking at Trump himself. So here you go.
Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the stabbing?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure.
Why aren't you guys paying attention to all the distractions?
Yeah. So as you can imagine, that went over like a fart. So
Oh my goodness.
talk about one of the most Captain Media Master. Just I can't believe that's how you know it's guilt, because this guy's usually so savvy. That was the most tone deaf thing this man has ever done. Like,
Yikes.
yeah, so everybody started like doing the slow take towards him and stopped looking at Bondi. And then of course Alex Jones comes out and goes, "I was right. I knew it." So
he really did just fall on a knife. I didn't really understand what Alex Jones was saying
yeah,
until now. That's
jumped on the grenade. It
No
was
kidding.
crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, some people are still thinking that Bondi is the real culprit, and that brings us to the next person I wanted to discuss, and that is Megyn Kelly and her theory, which I don't think her theory is bad. I don't know how long it's going to take to get to it, but we will just get through as much of this as we can.
Nothing's going on. Has anyone been on X in the past hour?
They're happy. That's why you know they haven't
That's
been
right.
on social media.
We'll update you.
Why don't you update them, Megyn?
Well, this is the first big scandal, I'd say, of the Trump administration that's on Team Rational. It's not a fake media scandal like the left tries to create for President Trump every other day. It's one of the right's own making, and it's not going well. And it has to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. Let me just ask you, make some noise if you care about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
Yeah, that wasn't a dig at Trump at all.
Raise your hand if it matters a lot to you. Raise your hand. So every hand of 7,000 people.
Everybody cares. I think
A lot. I said a lot. Every hand.
Here's what I think is happening. I don't think President Trump is focused on this. He's focused on a lot of other things which are going great, and he needs to be focused on those other things. Jeffrey Epstein's not the most important thing on his agenda by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, he's crushing it on the tariffs, foreign policy, just got nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. If not Trump, then who? Honestly. Barack Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize after 9 months in office. He had done nothing. He gave a nice speech about Muslims, and they gave it to him. So President Trump should be getting the Nobel Peace Prize, and there's all sorts of things he's focused on. I just don't think this has captured his attention quite yet. But it needs to, because it's starting to create a real...
Whatever's going on, I seriously disagree with that. This man has been screaming about the Epstein files since 2016. It is very difficult to believe that he's not paying attention on this. I mean, he's only talked about it for a decade. And I have kind of a cynical theory as to why, but we'll see if we get into that or not. See if we can get through her video first.
He's like intertwined in it, man. Like he's been part of it since the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know if he wasn't in it, he knew who was.
Yeah.
And he was using his knowledge of that situation. This is my opinion. I guess this is my theory. I don't know if this is what really happened or not. But this is just one man, according to one particular commenter, living in his mother's basement. But this is just one dude's opinion. I think he was using it as a threat. Let me in the club, or I'm going to burn it all down. Again, this whole blackmail racket is mutually assured destruction. And he was going to say, because you got to remember, he had been mocked. He'd been mocked by Obama. He'd been mocked by the left. And he was mad. And a lot of people said he was joining the race because he was mad. And he threw that list around, in my opinion. Or not necessarily the list, but he was implying in some of his comments, because Benny Johnson did a good job playing a lot of Trump's past comments and a lot of people's past comments. And during the week, I kind of was listening to them, and it hit me the way he was being kind of cagey. I was kind of thinking about how the media usually interacts, because I think a lot of people don't understand that when the media talks, they're not always talking to you. And ever since the Revolutionary War, spies have used the newspapers and media to talk to each other, like the government signals using the press.
Yeah.
And that's why Abraham Lincoln, everybody gets mad at Lincoln. We were talking about Razor Fist video on Lincoln. Well, one of the reasons that you would do habeas corpus, you would arrest reporters, is because if they're too sympathetic to the South, they might be being used for espionage. And every time there's a ground war, that tends to be what happens. Civil War, that was the case. Revolutionary War, that was the case. Maybe not so much in Woodrow Wilson's case, because that was obviously overseas, but maybe even in that too. But the point is, you signal. And so everything that's said is not always said to the audience you're in front of. And if that's true, that would explain Trump derangement syndrome to an extent. Because these guys got so angry at him because he was threatening them. And that chagrin that we all saw in 2016 was kind of a, oh, how dare you type of response. It would also explain, perhaps, why this FBI that was wasting its time with Russiagate and all this nonsense decided to arrest Epstein. Why would these people who are sympathetic to the Democrat Party arrest their primary intelligence asset who is benefiting the Democrat Party? Why would the FBI do that? Perhaps it was because they were trying to maintain that mutually assured destruction dynamic. Perhaps they thought if they grabbed Epstein too, they'd be able to intimidate Trump. But then somebody killed him, or he killed himself, and all the information disappeared.
Or he moved to Brazil.
Because can you really kill somebody in a minute? I don't know if you can, but you can walk out of your cell in a minute. You can do that, but we ain't allowed to talk about that. But anyway, so that's just that's just pure conjecture on my part. I'm insane. But anyway, bottom line is, yeah, I think he might have been using his statements about, like his statements about Bill Clinton might have been direct threats at these guys to say, back off, let me run, let me play, or I'm going to start naming names. So that's as far as I'll go for now. If it's Trump, now it could just as easily be Bondi, and that's what's really hard. There's pros and cons to each attitude, whether it's Trump or whether it's Bondi. So I guess we'll just let Megyn Kelly make her case, and people can decide if it's Jones's idea is Jones's idea better or hers, I suppose. And of course, I'm sure there's like Tucker Carlson thinks it's Mossad, so there's that. But in which case, I think in that case it would still be Trump giving the orders, even if Trump was technically listening to Israel or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I haven't followed that avenue super close. As far as I can tell, I think the idea seems to be that Epstein was primarily a Mossad asset, so they have blackmail on our politicians. I think that's their theory. Yeah. So, but even if that was true, it would still be Trump. So again, it brings us back to the question: is this Trump or is this Bondi? So. Yeah.
Hornet's nest within the administration, and I've got to be honest, I blame Pam Bondi. I'll tell you why, okay? I have nothing, yes, incompetence, yes. I have nothing against Pam Bondi as a human being. I was fine with her nomination and her confirmation, and she's been loyal to the president, and I get that President Trump needs a loyal attorney general. Look what happened with Sessions the first time. He went away, and then the next thing you know...
I am going to say this, just as a rule, I don't like defaulting to incompetence.
Yeah.
I think that's lazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a political savvy genius, but I do write, and I write a lot. And the hallmark of a really bad story is whenever you go, well, that character's just crazy. And you start making all these ad hoc explanations by saying your character's insane. Yep. That's kind of what people do when they're trying to figure out what's going on. They'll sit there and go, oh, well, that person's just stupid. Or, oh, well, that person's just incompetent. It's like, no, everybody's got a goal. Everybody has a mentality. Everybody has a reason for what they're doing. And I just don't think you should default to incompetence. But that's just me.
We had the Mueller investigation, and it was a nightmare. But there are a lot of other people who can be loyal and competent in that job. Here, she is the reason that things are unraveling around this story right now that virtually all of the Republican Party cares deeply about. It's also true that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel had questions about Epstein before they took office, okay, before they went into the FBI. But once they joined the FBI, they said nothing. They've kept their mouths shut about Epstein. You have not seen them, except for one joint appearance with Dan and Kash on Fox, running all over the media looking for attention on this, yes, clickbaity story. Who have you seen? Pam Bondi. She has never missed an opportunity to go on television and dangle sweet nothings that might be coming your way. Try to lead you to believe that she's got it, it's on her desk, it's coming tomorrow, you're gonna see something on Epstein. And it was a tease. So you either believe that Pam Bondi was telling the truth then, or that she's telling the truth now, but both cannot be true. She was either lying when she went on Fox News all those times saying, I've got it, we're looking at it, wait until you see it, it's horrible. Or she's lying in her 2-page memo that they released on a Sunday night at the tail end of a holiday weekend to Axios, as if Axios is where we all go for our news. Hell no. She went to someone she knew would not kick the tires on the story, and without signing the memo, dropped it in the dead of night and said, that's it, take the crumbs and be happy. Refused to come out and give a presser, come out and give a press conference, stand there for 6 hours to the point where people are dying of boredom. They've asked all their questions. That's how you put a scandal to rest. But she wouldn't even sign her name to it. And I'm telling you, I have dollars to donuts. It's going to come out that there was internal consternation over that memo and whose name did and did not go on it and who was and was not behind it. And so now you have a situation where her words on the record on Fox News are diametrically opposed to what she put in this memo. She's embarrassed the president. She's embarrassed herself. And Dan and Cash, to the extent they've had to sign off on that, let's understand the FBI is controlled by the DOJ. FBI is subservient to DOJ. She's their boss. That they're in this position where the only comments they've made on the record as administration officials have been, we don't think he killed himself, and we don't think he got murdered. We think he did kill himself. We've looked at the tapes, and Cash to Joe Rogan saying, if I saw all these tapes of Jeffrey Epstein with little girls, trust me, I would show you, but I haven't seen it. Okay, so what they're saying now is consistent with what they've said since they joined the office, and that is one of the many reasons why this scandal is squarely on her, and I'm telling you, I'm of the cable news universe. I've seen it happen a million times. People get thirsty. They love to see themselves on television. They love to see their names in the Klieg lights. They love the attention. They love the little emails and texts and tweets and thumbs up they get after their appearance, and they can feel their star rising. And listen, internally, I'm told there's a bit of like a power struggle between Pam Bondi and another female administration official on who's going to be the top dog. You know, we've got a great bench behind President Trump. We've got JD, we've got Marco, you know, we've got Hegseth. We've got a lot of people who could potentially be next up. But there are some women who've got their eye on that role too. And I've been
Maybe
told
one of
she's
them speaking at this event.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I'm too happy a person.
No, I know. I was talking about someone tomorrow, so that might be speaking at this
Oh,
event.
yeah.
But,
Okay.
but Megan, you may...
All right. So that's the end result of that. So what do you think? You think this is just a matter of somebody getting eager for the spotlight?
I think it's a whole bunch of people trying to cover their asses.
For the stuff that went on that island? Or for something else?
Yeah, it's just like it's a snowball effect. It just it keeps getting more people wrapped up in it. You know, like she's saying, people want credibility or clout, whatever you want to call it. And they get like, oh, I went in and, you know, it's just a mess at the end.
Yeah.
Snowball's got to hit the wall at some point.
What do you think, Mr. Trevor?
I'm still waiting on them to drain the swamp.
Well, that's the thing. This is the linchpin. This is the plug that if they would pull it, it would drain the swamp. But they don't. The thing is, do they really want to?
Like, oh, I can't find the plug.
It's not there. There is no plug. There is no plug.
What's happening in Texas right now?
Yeah. Go
Pay
look at
attention
this
to
other
that.
horrible thing that's happening. Yeah, it's
Psyops on psyops, brah.
psyops and psyops and psyops. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.